In 21 days, you will not recognize yourself, and neither will anyone else. The weak man clings to his old identity like a chain around his neck. He fears change, so he rots in mediocrity. But you, if you are here, you're ready to burn that skin, to rise as someone untouchable. Machiavelli once said, "It is better to be feared than loved, if you cannot be both." In 21 days, you will embody that truth. Cold, calculated, respected, or avoided. Either way, never ignored. If you are listening now, this is not entertainment. This is initiation. This is your map to becoming unrecognizable through the ruthless application of dark psychology, discipline, and stoic power. Comment this phrase right now. I choose evolution over comfort. That's your first step. Lock it in. Declare it. Because what follows is not advice. It's war strategy for the battlefield of life. Part 2. Breaking the mask of who you were. The man you've been up until now is dead weight, a mask of weakness that society forced onto you. That mask has kept you predictable, soft, and easy to control. For 21 days, you must destroy it, piece by piece, until nothing remains but the steel underneath. People believe identity is permanent, that who you are is who you'll always be. That's a lie. The truth is simpler. Identity is a costume, a tool. You wear it until it no longer serves you. And right now, the costume you've been wearing has expired. Understand this. To become unrecognizable, you must commit an act of psychological assassination, killing the self that others thought they knew. Friends, family, co-workers, they've placed you in a box. They expect you to act small, polite, harmless. Break that box. Shatter their expectations. Let them whisper, "He's different now." Good. That means you're winning. Machiavelli wrote that men judge more by what they see than what they feel. So shift what they see. Harden your tone. Sharpen your presence. Carry silence like a blade. Let your words become fewer but heavier. Every gesture, every glance must project control. This is how you start becoming unrecognizable. Not by telling the world you've changed, but by forcing it to sense the shift in your energy. For the next 21 days, every interaction is practice. Each encounter is your battlefield. You are no longer who you were. You are who you decide to be. Comment this phrase below. I kill the old version of me. Make it public. Make it permanent. Because once the mask is broken, there is no going back. Part 3. The discipline of disappearance. To become unrecognizable, you must first vanish, not from the earth, but from the routines, the noise, the patterns that keep you ordinary. Disappearance is discipline. It's the art of subtraction. For 21 days, you must step back from the habits that define the old you. The endless chatter, the social distractions, the predictable rituals that make you easy to read. You must pull away, not to run, but to rebuild. Think of power as a fire. If you scatter your sparks everywhere, you glow for a moment and die. But if you withdraw, if you concentrate, if you cut off the leaks of attention, you ignite into something no one can extinguish. Disappearance fuels transformation. Dark psychology teaches one brutal truth. People only value what they fear losing. So when you withdraw, when you reduce your presence, others start to feel your weight. Silence becomes your announcement. Distance becomes your signal. Machiavelli warned. A prince must learn how not to be good and to use that knowledge as necessity requires. Withdrawal is your first lesson in that truth. You don't owe anyone your presence. You don't owe them constant access to your mind, your time, your energy. In fact, you owe it to yourself to deny them. Every time you disappear, you sharpen your edge. You detach from their opinions. You cut away the illusions of belonging, and when you return, you will not return as the same man. They will face a figure colder, sharper, untouchable. That contrast is power. That contrast is transformation. For the next 21 days, make withdrawal your weapon. Refuse pointless conversations. Deny the urge to explain yourself. Learn to enjoy being unseen. Because in that silence, in that vanishing act, you forge the strength that will make you unrecognizable. Comment this phrase right now. My silence is my strength. Write it, own it, believe it. You are no longer available on demand. You are becoming rare. And rarity is the root of power. Part 4. The cold edge of power. Power does not belong to the loud. It belongs to the cold, to the one who can cut away emotion when strategy demands it, to the one who can detach when others are drowning in attachment. You want to become unrecognizable? Then master the art of emotional control, not the weak, watered-down self-help version, but the ruthless version, the kind that makes you unreadable, untouchable. Listen carefully. People are slaves to their impulses. They lash out in anger, they beg in fear, they overcommit in excitement. That predictability makes them weak, and weakness makes them prey. If you can stay calm while they burn, if you can hold silence while they scream, you own them. This is Machiavelli's dark psychology in action. Influence isn't about force, it's about being the immovable center that others orbit. Stoicism teaches you, don't react, respond. Machiavellianism teaches you, don't just respond, calculate. Every word, every move must be deliberate, a weapon disguised as ordinary speech, a pause used to create discomfort, a glance that makes someone second-guess their own confidence. Coldness is not cruelty, it's precision. Understand this. People test you constantly. They push for a reaction. They want proof that you're fragile, proof that you bleed. Every time you take the bait, you surrender power. Every time you stay still, you sharpen the legend of who you are becoming. In 21 days, you must reprogram your reflexes. No more anger, no more chasing, no more begging to be understood. Let them misunderstand. Let them project. Their illusions only increase your advantage. Machiavelli said men should either be crushed or indulged lightly because minor wounds invite revenge, but total domination removes the threat. Apply this. When you act, act decisively. Don't half commit. Don't argue endlessly. If you must cut, cut once and leave no doubt. The cold edge of power is forged in silence, sharpened in restraint, and unleashed only when the outcome is guaranteed. That is how you ascend. That is how you become the man no one dares to provoke. Comment this phrase below. I control my fire, I control my fate. Write it with conviction, because once you hold that control, no one can pull your strings again. Coldness is not weakness. Coldness is command, and command is the essence of becoming unrecognizable. Part 5. The art of psychological distance. The closer people feel to you, the more power they think they have over you. That illusion must be destroyed. If you want to become unrecognizable, you must master psychological distance, the art of staying present yet unreachable. Understand this. People crave certainty. They want to know where you stand, what you feel, what you'll do next. Certainty makes them comfortable. Comfort breeds complacency. If you give them comfort, you give away control. But if you create uncertainty, if you make them question you, if they can't quite predict your next move, you dominate the frame of interaction. Machiavelli warned, men in general judge more by the eye than by the hand. They'll never know your full intent, so let them see only fragments. Drop half-truths. Leave your sentences unfinished. Speak less than you know. Distance isn't silence alone, it's strategic fog. You are visible but never clear, present but never exposed. This is dark psychology at its core. You don't show people the cards in your hand. You let them project their own fears and desires onto your silence. They will imagine you to be stronger, smarter, more dangerous than you even are. And that imagination is worth more than reality. Stoicism teaches detachment, but Machiavellianism teaches controlled detachment. Not running from the world, but bending it. For the next 21 days, every conversation must be your training ground. When someone presses you for details, give them less. When they seek validation, give them none. When they expect immediate answers, delay. Teach them that access to you is a privilege, not a right. And here's the paradox. The less accessible you become, the more value they place on your presence. Scarcity creates power. Think of the rare diamond, useless in function, priceless in value. Why? Because it's scarce. Your time, your attention, your emotions, they must become diamonds, rare, untouchable. Remember, people will try to pull you back into your old self. They'll say you've changed. They'll say you're colder, distant, different. Smile slightly and say nothing. Let them wrestle with the distance. They will adjust or they will fall away. Either outcome strengthens you. Machiavelli also wrote, "He who builds on the people builds on mud. The approval of others is unstable, temporary, weak. Stop building your identity on their opinions. Build on your own self-command. That is stone. That is fortress." For 21 days, you are not seeking applause. You are cultivating distance. You are breaking dependency. You are learning how to let people wonder where you stand and why they can't quite touch you anymore. Comment this phrase right now. I am present, but untouchable. Declare it. Let it etch itself into your psyche. Because when you master psychological distance, you stop being a participant. You become the enigma, and enigmas cannot be controlled. Part 6. Ruthless self-mastery. Before you can bend others, you must conquer yourself. This is the law of power, and it's where most men fail. They demand respect while still enslaved to their impulses. They talk about dominance, but can't even dominate their own hunger, their own distractions, their own laziness. That contradiction makes them laughable. If you want to become unrecognizable in 21 days, you must practice ruthless self-mastery. That means no compromise, no negotiation with weakness. Discipline is not about doing what you like. Discipline is about doing what is necessary, especially when it cuts against your comfort. Machiavelli said, "A prince who cannot command himself cannot command others." Understand this deeply. If your emotions whip you around like a storm, how can you ever hold the calm gravity of authority? If your mind wanders like a stray dog, how can you ever lead? Self-mastery is not optional. It is the foundation of untouchable power. In practical terms, this means auditing your life with brutal honesty. Every indulgence that softens you, cut it. Every habit that drains you, erase it. If a food weakens your body, throw it away. If an app consumes your attention, delete it. If a person poisons your mind, cut them out without apology. You are not here to please anyone. You are here to forge steel. Stoicism teaches you to endure hardship without complaint. Machiavellianism teaches you to use hardship to sharpen your edge. When the world tempts you with comfort, decline it. When pain arrives, thank it. Pain is not your enemy. Pain is the forge where self-mastery is created. Every day of these 21 days must be a test. Wake earlier than you want. Train harder than you think you can. Speak less than you usually do. Strip your life of weakness until all that remains is strength and silence. In that silence, the new you will emerge, harder, colder, untouchable. Here's the truth. People may not notice these changes at first. They may laugh, dismiss, resist. Let them. In 21 days, your transformation will be undeniable. They will not recognize you, not because you told them, but because the old you will no longer exist. Comment this phrase right now. I command myself. Therefore, I command my world. stamp it below. Because if you cannot master yourself, you will forever be mastered by others. Ruthless self-mastery is the sword. Without it, you are unarmed. With it, you are unstoppable. Part 7. Strategic ruthlessness. If you want to be unrecognizable, you must cut out the disease of hesitation. Weak men hesitate. They wait for permission. They stall. They second-guess. They overthink. By the time they move, the moment is gone, and so is their chance. Ruthlessness does not mean blind cruelty. That is weakness disguised as strength. True ruthlessness is strategic. It is the art of cutting clean, removing obstacles without apology, and doing what must be done even when others lack the courage. Machiavelli understood this well. He wrote, "In the actions of all men, and especially of princes, where there is no court of appeal, one judges by the result." Understand what that means. Morality is irrelevant in the game of power. Results are what history remembers. If your choices create order, strength, and success, the world will justify them, even if they were merciless. If your choices are kind but weak, no one will care about your intentions. They will step over your corpse. Strategic ruthlessness begins with clarity. You must know what you are building, who you are becoming, and what stands in your way. Once identified, you must act with precision. If a habit weakens you, eliminate it completely. If an environment poisons your mind, abandon it. If a person drags you backward, cut the rope. Half measures invite decay. Sharp, decisive action creates transformation. This doesn't mean you flaunt your ruthlessness. Number. The most dangerous men are not the ones who shout their power. They are the ones who move quietly, but decisively. They smile while rearranging the chessboard. They act without broadcasting. They win without announcing. Their ruthlessness is invisible until the results are undeniable. That is the level you must aspire to. Dark psychology teaches us that people forgive strength but despise weakness. They may call you cold. They may call you detached. They may even call you cruel. Let them. Names do not matter. What matters is control. What matters is rising above the herd. And the herd will always attack what they cannot become. Stoicism reminds you, do not react to their noise. Do not chase their approval. Do not defend your decisions. The ruthless man does not explain. He demonstrates. He does not debate. He executes. He does not seek applause. He seeks victory. This is the cold psychology of power. In 21 days, your challenge is to act with ruthless precision in at least one area of your life every single day. No hesitation, no half steps. If it's a workout, finish it without excuse. If it's a task, execute it completely. If it's a boundary, enforce it without flinching. Each act sharpens your blade. Each act kills the weaker version of you. Remember Machiavelli's warning: men sooner forget the death of their father than the loss of their inheritance. Translate that. People will forgive many things, but never forgive you for taking their comfort, their illusions, their control. Good. Let them resent you. Their resentment is proof you are no longer like them. Comment this phrase now. I cut fast, I cut clean, I rise. Post it with conviction. That is the creed of strategic ruthlessness. Because in this world, the man who hesitates dies in obscurity. The man who acts ruthlessly, decisively, coldly, writes his name into the stone of power. Part 8. The aura of the untouchable. By now, you understand this. Transformation is not only internal, it must radiate outward. The world doesn't respond to what you think you are. The world responds to what you project. To become unrecognizable in 21 days, you must forge an aura, an invisible armor of authority, presence, and cold gravitas that others cannot ignore. Aura is not mystical. It is psychological warfare. It's the calculated projection of control that rewires how others perceive you before you even speak. People read signals unconsciously: posture, tone, eye contact, rhythm of speech, the silence between words. If you control these, you control perception. If you control perception, you control the room. Machiavelli said, "Men in general judge more by their eyes than by their hands, because everyone can see, but few can feel." Your aura is what they see, and if you craft it with precision, it becomes your shield and your weapon. Here's the formula: fewer words, heavier presence. Stand still when others fidget. Speak slower when others rush. Lower your tone when others get loud. Pause before answering, not because you're unsure, but because you're calculating. These small acts create massive shifts in how people perceive you. They stop seeing a man. They start seeing an enigma. Dark psychology tells us people fear what they cannot read. If your emotions are muted, if your motives are concealed, if your energy is steady and controlled, they cannot categorize you. And when they cannot categorize you, they cannot control you. Confusion breeds respect. Mystery breeds fascination. Silence breeds fear. But remember, aura is not arrogance. Aura is not theatrical. Aura is restraint. The man who brags, the man who over-explains, the man who chases approval, he bleeds out his power in front of everyone. The untouchable man never needs to announce himself. His presence speaks. His silence intimidates. His calm unsettles. Stoicism reminds you to master the self. Machiavellianism reminds you to weaponize that mastery. Together, they produce aura. Think of Marcus Aurelius, an emperor who ruled with composure. Think of Machiavelli's prince, who must project fear when necessary and love only when useful. Aura is the stage where philosophy meets psychology. For the next 21 days, train this relentlessly. When you enter a room, pause at the doorway. Command the space before moving. When someone asks you a question, wait a moment before answering. Make them lean into your silence. When you sit, sit as if you belong anywhere. When you stand, stand as if nothing can move you. These micro-disciplines build macro power. Here's the truth. Aura is not just how others see you, it's how you see yourself. If you believe you are untouchable, others will begin to treat you as untouchable. Perception becomes reality, and reality reshapes identity. This is why aura is non-negotiable. Without it, your transformation is incomplete. With it, your transformation is undeniable. People will begin to whisper. They will say, "He's different now. He feels dangerous, good." That whisper is the sound of your new aura at work. Don't break character. Don't rush to reassure them. Let their unease grow, because unease creates distance, and distance creates power. Machiavelli warned, it is much safer to be feared than loved. Aura is the bridge to that fear, not the loud fear of violence, but the quiet fear of respect. The fear of being in the presence of someone they cannot read, cannot move, cannot shake. Comment this phrase below. I radiate control. I radiate power. Etch it into your mind. Post it publicly, because aura is not only built in silence, it is built in declaration. The aura of the untouchable is the final layer of armor. When you wear it, you no longer chase approval. You no longer seek validation. You walk into every room carrying the weight of a man who has nothing to prove and everything to command. In 21 days, if you master this, the world will no longer see who you were. They will see only who you have become. Untouchable. Part 9. The final severing of the old self. Every transformation has a breaking point, a line you cross where retreat is no longer possible. For you, that line must come now. The old self has to die, completely. No fragments, no pieces left to crawl back into. If you want to become unrecognizable in 21 days, you must sever every tie to who you were, with no hesitation, no apology, no return. Most men cling to the past because it's comfortable. They hold on to old friendships that keep them small, old habits that keep them weak, old patterns that keep them predictable. They want to evolve while dragging their baggage behind them. But that is not evolution, it is delusion. If you want rebirth, you must burn. If you want to ascend, you must cut. There is no middle ground. Machiavelli said, "A prince must learn how not to be good and to use that knowledge as necessity requires." Severing the old self is exactly this. It is not good, it is not gentle, it is brutal necessity. The people who benefit from your weakness will call you selfish. The habits that once gave you comfort will scream for your attention. The old identity will try to resurrect itself through guilt, nostalgia, and fear. You must kill it again and again until it no longer breathes. Dark psychology teaches us that identity is not fixed. It's malleable. People think they are who they are. That's a prison. The truth is, you are who you decide to be. And every decision you make either chains you to your old self or liberates you into your new self. If you choose comfort, you remain chained. If you choose severance, you become free. Severance is not symbolic, it is practical. It means if your phone is a leash, you turn it off. If your social circle poisons your progress, you distance yourself. If your environment whispers weakness, you leave it behind. This is not about cruelty, it's about clarity. You are not cutting people, you are cutting patterns, and anyone tied to those patterns will fall away as collateral. Accept that, embrace it. That is the price of power. Here's the paradox. When you sever the old self, you will feel loss, but that loss is illusion. What you lose was never truly yours. Comfort was a leash, distraction was a cage, weakness was a parasite. What you lose in the short term is nothing compared to what you gain in the long term: freedom, self-command, untouchable presence. That is the exchange, that is the bargain of transformation. Stoicism teaches that suffering is inevitable, but suffering is also purification. Severing the old self will hurt, it will sting, but that pain is the fire that tempers steel. If you cannot endure it, you do not deserve transformation. If you embrace it, you emerge forged, unbreakable. Pain is not the enemy here. Pain is proof that the old you is dying, proof that the new you is being born. Think of it this way: snakes shed their skin or they die. Warriors sharpen their blades or they rust. Leaders make decisive cuts or they collapse under hesitation. You are no different. 21 days is enough time to shed the skin, sharpen the blade, and cut the old self from your life permanently. Machiavelli warned, "The one who adapts survives. The one who clings perishes." Adaptation demands severance. You cannot carry old weight into new battles. If you attempt it, you will fail. If you sever it, you will rise. For these 21 days, your mission is to identify and destroy every remnant of the old you. Keep a journal, not of your victories, but of your cuts. Write down what you eliminated: the habit, the distraction, the weakness. Each cut is a grave marker for the man you will never be again. At the end of this journey, you will look back and see a field of graves, the graves of your limitations, and you will stand above them, untouchable. People will say, "You've changed." They will be right. They will say, "You're not the same." Correct again. Let them mourn the man you used to be. That man is gone. That man served his purpose, and now he is buried. Do not grieve him. He was necessary to bring you here, but he is not necessary to take you further. Comment this phrase right now. The old me is dead. The new me is untouchable. Write it with finality, because this declaration is not just a comment, it's a tombstone, the last breath of your past self. Sever completely. Cut clean. Burn the bridge behind you. Because only then will the world see not the man they remember, but the force they cannot comprehend. Part 10. The Ascension to Untouchable, 21 days. That's all it takes to become someone the world no longer recognizes, but not just someone different, someone untouchable. Someone who walks through life with the cold confidence of a ruler, the steel of a soldier, and the foresight of a strategist. The man who began this journey dies here. The man who emerges now, he cannot be stopped. Think of everything you've cut away these last days, the mask you shattered, the silence you forged, the coldness you mastered, the ruthlessness you unleashed, the aura you built. Piece by piece, you've stripped the old skin, burned the old ties, silenced the old weaknesses, and now only the core remains. Pure, hardened, dangerous. This is the man Machiavelli described, respected, feared, but never ignored. The untouchable man is not loved because he seeks love. He is respected because he commands respect. He does not beg. He does not explain. He does not wait for permission. He takes. He acts. He shapes. That is what separates you from the rest of the herd. While they chase comfort, you chase power. While they seek approval, you seek dominance. While they sleep, you sharpen. Dark psychology has one lesson above all: control perception, and you control reality. The untouchable man knows this instinctively. He is never sloppy with his presence. He never wastes his words. He understands that each glance, each silence, each action is a message. And he makes sure that message is always the same: strength, restraint, command. But let's go deeper. Untouchable doesn't mean untouching. It doesn't mean you float above life like a ghost. Number. It means you move through life like a blade, cutting, decisive, undeniable. You engage, but always on your terms. You connect, but never cling. You give, but never from weakness. You love, perhaps, but never at the expense of self-command. Everything is measured. Everything is chosen. That is untouchable. Stoicism prepared you for this. The world will insult you, attack you, tempt you, but you no longer react. You respond, or you don't. You choose. The old you was reactive, emotional, desperate to be understood. The new you is silent when silence is stronger, sharp when sharpness is required, calm always. That calm is not emptiness, it is control. And that control is terrifying to those who cannot master themselves. Machiavelli warned, "He who becomes master of a city accustomed to freedom and does not destroy it will be destroyed by it." Translate this: if you conquer your old self but leave fragments alive, those fragments will rise against you. That's why you had to sever completely in part 9. That's why you must remain vigilant. Untouchable is not a one-time achievement. It is a practice, a discipline, a war you wage daily against the pull of weakness, and you must win. So what does life look like now as the untouchable? You walk differently, not with arrogance, but with inevitability. You enter rooms with presence, not noise. Your aura makes people turn their heads, though they don't know why. You speak less, but your words cut deeper. People hesitate before crossing you. They lean in when you speak. They watch you when you're silent. You are no longer invisible. You are unforgettable. In relationships, you are no longer the one who clings. You are the one who chooses. You are not desperate to be liked, because you have accepted that fear commands more respect than love. And when you are loved, it is because you allow it, not because you beg for it. Your distance creates desire. Your restraint creates value. Your silence creates mystery. You don't play their games, they play yours. In work, you are no longer the obedient cog. You are the strategist. You no longer seek constant validation from superiors. Instead, they sense your authority, even if you do not speak it. You are the man in the room they cannot quite read, cannot quite control, cannot quite dismiss. You are the variable they must account for, and that makes you dangerous. Internally, you feel different. The anxiety that once governed you is gone, burned away by discipline. The insecurities that once whispered in your ear are silenced. Not because you became perfect, but because you became indifferent. You no longer need their approval. You no longer crave their applause. You no longer fear their rejection. You've realized the secret. The only enemy was ever you. And you killed him. That is Ascension. That is untouchable. But listen carefully. Untouchable does not mean invincible. Even kings fall if they grow careless. Machiavelli wrote, "He who is the cause of another becoming powerful is ruined." Remember this. Never build your empire on another man's foundation. Never hand over your power to those who will use it against you. Guard yourself. Sharpen daily. The moment you soften, the moment you slip, the world will notice, and it will strike. So remain disciplined, remain ruthless, remain cold where coldness is needed, warm only when warmth serves your strategy. You are untouchable, not because the world cannot touch you, but because you decide what touches you. Choice is your weapon, control is your shield, command is your nature. Now, as we close, declare it one final time. Comment this phrase with conviction. I ascend. I am untouchable. Write it below. Stamp it into your identity. Etch it into your reality. Because words spoken are seeds planted. And this seed will grow into the legend of who you are becoming. This is your initiation complete. 21 days, and the world will no longer recognize you. They will see a man transformed. They will see a man they cannot control. They will see a man who walks with Machiavellian foresight, stoic endurance, and the aura of cold, immovable power. You are not here to fit in. You are here to rise above. You are not here to be liked. You are here to be respected, feared, remembered. That is your destiny. That is your power. That is your ascension. And now, before you leave, do what must be done. Like this video, subscribe to Mental Fort, and turn on notifications. Because this is not the end, it is the beginning. The journey of the untouchable never ends. The world will test you again and again, but you will not break. You cannot break. You are unrecognizable. You are untouchable.